I was sitting on my back deck that morning, coffee in hand, watching this pale fog drift off Pine Valley Lake. The kind of moment you move out here for, you know? Peace, quiet, maybe a few geese squabbling in the distance if you're unlucky. Then, I hear this crunching sound, like someone speed walking over my gravel. I turn, and there's this tall, awkward kid, backwards cap, phone held out like he's hunting for Pokemon or maybe just Wi-Fi. Doesn't say hello, doesn't even look at me, just barges up on my deck and, dead serious, tells me he needs to use my internet. Not asks, tells. So I set my mug down, bite back every sarcastic thing I want to say, and try to keep it polite. This is private property. Kid, you need to leave. He goes red in the face, mumbles something about his mom being the HOA president, then huffs off like I'd insulted the Pope. I should have known right then that this was just the opening move in whatever game Margaret Sanderson wanted to play, because if there's one thing you learn after 38 years in the Army, it's that the people who crave authority the most usually have the least idea what to do with it. I'm Barrett Coleman, 63, retired Major General, not exactly the profile of a problem neighbor, you'd think. I bought this cabin because I wanted solitude, somewhere to fish and breathe and not get dragged into petty drama. Sure, Evergreen Heights has an HOA, but I read the rules cover to cover before signing anything, and I play by them better than anyone. My property's immaculate, my fees paid up, not a blade of grass out of place. I keep to myself, always have. Margaret, on the other hand, she's got this thing about power. Shows up to board meetings in a sash. Yeah, a literal glittering sash that says, Guardian of Evergreen Heights, like she's in a Disney movie nobody else wants to watch. Her kid, Justin, is 19, just back from what Margaret calls a gap year, but everyone knows was really just flunking out of community college. Honestly, I'd feel sorry for him if he wasn't such a brat. Within 2 hours of me telling Justin to get lost, Margaret fires off an email blast to all 212 homes in the community. The subject line, no joke, urgent security alert, hostile individual at lot 47. 3 whole paragraphs about how her innocent son was threatened by a deranged, possibly armed squatter. She called an emergency meeting about community safety. You know what I mean? I deleted the email, thinking, surely someone will see through this. But, well, never underestimate an HOA president with too much time on her hands. Next morning, I find 3 violation notices stapled to my oak tree. First one says my firewood is stacked improperly, as if there's a regulation for how symmetrical your logs have to be. Second claims my solar panels weren't pre-approved. Third, and this is my favorite, I'm in violation because I never submitted a psychological wellness form for remote lot residents. Total fiction. I know because I spent 2 nights reading those guidelines like they were the Army field manual. Margaret was just making stuff up, counting on me rolling over. She picked the wrong guy. I ignored it, just went back to my morning routine. 2 days later, while I'm cleaning fish on the dock, I hear cars rolling in. 2 sheriff's cruisers, Margaret's Lexus behind them, kicking up dust like a scene from a bad reality show. She's out there, hands waving, telling the deputies I'm unstable, possibly armed, suffering from PTSD. I see the officers, young guys, tense, hands on their hips. I put down the knife, grab my wallet, hand over my military ID and driver's license before they can say a word. Everything changes in a heartbeat. The lead deputy, barely old enough to rent a car, sees my credentials, stands straight, salutes. Major General Coleman, sir. Sorry to disturb you. Looks like there's been a serious misunderstanding. Margaret screeches that my ID is fake, like the badge and the medals in my hallway are props or something. The deputy spins on her, stone cold. Ma'am, filing a false report is a crime. You said there was a dangerous squatter, but all I see is a retired general cleaning his fish. Her face cycles from red to white to this kind of ugly purple, sputtering about HOA violations, her poor son. Second deputy starts writing, real quiet. Did your son enter Mr. Coleman's property without permission? Did he get threatened, or just told to leave? Margaret's story crumbles in seconds, the body cams rolling the whole time. Deputies apologize, tell me I've got nothing to worry about, and warn her that if she keeps this up, she'll be looking at real charges. Margaret stands at the edge of my yard, mouth working, nothing coming out, before stomping back to her car and tearing off. For a second I think that's the end, peace at last. Yeah, that happened. But no, she calls a board meeting for Friday night. I get a formal summons to answer for my violations. It's like I'm living in an episode of some suburban horror show. That night, the community center is packed. People want to see the dangerous hermit in person, I guess. Margaret's in her sash, clutching her gavel, acting like a judge in a soap opera. I came loaded for bear. Copies of my deed, payment receipts, photos showing my property perfect by the book, plus a folder of 17 bogus violations she's given other people. Oh, and a PowerPoint called HOA overreach and legal liability. When she finally lets me speak, Tom, the board treasurer, practically forces her. I take my 5 minutes and go all in. I lay out every document, show how her violations are made up, present the infamous psychological wellness form, and ask the room if anyone's ever heard of it. Nobody has. Then, I drop the bomb. Turns out Margaret's been running this scam for years, bullying anyone she thinks might sell out, especially on the lakefront, so her sister, the real estate agent, can grab the listings. I've got proof of 23 false violations, 11 bogus 911 calls, and even Justin snooping around at night, trying to dig up dirt for his mom. Suddenly, everyone's talking, neighbors sharing stories about Margaret's petty tyranny. Old Mrs. Harrow says she got threatened over the wrong beige mailbox. Some guy in the back stands up and says Justin was caught trying to photograph inside his garage after midnight. The whole mood shifts. The board votes. Unanimous. Even Margaret's cronies turn on her. She's out. But I'm not finished. I announce I'm filing complaints with the state HOA board, the sheriff's office, and a civil suit for harassment and defamation. Not just for me, but for the 6 other neighbors she targeted. Margaret's face just collapses, all that authority draining away. And then, this is the part you'd think was too on the nose if you saw it in a movie. Deputy Martinez, the same guy from before, steps out of the lobby and hands her a stack of papers. Criminal summons for filing false police reports. Conspiracy to commit fraud, the works. By the time the dust settles, Margaret's facing real jail time, 100,000 in fines, and her sister's losing her real estate license. Justin, meanwhile, is charged with trespassing, 6 months and 5 grand in fines. The whole neighborhood is buzzing, people relieved, angry, laughing, some even a little lost without someone to complain about every week. Margaret's last words in the lobby, her hair all messy for once, were, "I was just trying to maintain standards." Yeah, sure. Thing is, I didn't move out here to fight a war with the HOA. I just wanted a little quiet. But sometimes, the only way to get peace is to stand your ground and let the bullies know you're not afraid to push back. So tell me, am I the bad guy for taking her down? Or is this what community's supposed to look like when people finally say enough is enough? Let's hear it. Was I right to fight, or did I go too far? Drop your take below, because honestly, I'm still not sure if there's a right answer when it comes to standing up for yourself in a place like this.